Okay, now I got it. Now I got it.
There we go.
Oh man, I feel
Welcome
like hold
back.
on. Let me start a timer because I always lose track of time. All right, stopwatch is good enough. What's up, guys?
What's
What's up?
up?
What's up? How y'all
Happy
doing?
Friday.
Happy
Oh
Friday.
man, it's Friday. I
Julian,
got
are you
some tequila.
done?
I thought
Or
I
is this a
was,
break?
but yeah, this is kind of a break for me.
A little quick trip to build with the boys real quick.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
go.
Tequila, are you meticulous about the tequila, picky about it?
I am. I'm usually not a tequila drinker. Honestly, sipping is good, but this one was
Mm.
gifted to me, so I appreciate get things that are gifted, and it's like a really good one apparently, and it tastes good. Like it drinks more like a whiskey. It's kind of peaty a little bit. Like so kind of like a scotchy like taste, but it's a little oaky. So it actually doesn't drink like a tequila, but it's really good. So I broke the bottle, so I didn't understand
Oh.
how to open it. So like I opened it and it had like a little nipple thing on it, like
Mm.
Buchanan's. So I was like, how did like it didn't pour out. So I accidentally broke it and had to pour it into like a wine bottle. So
Oh
we're getting
man.
there. So it has a little bit of that in there, I think, as well. I didn't wash the bottle out good, but it's still pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
Dang.
But hey, it's 5 o'clock on Friday. I know Julian still got to work,
Absolutely.
but
At least one of us having fun, but we're gonna have some fun today. I know we got a lot to talk about.
If we feel a little rusty, it's because we are a little rusty. It's been a while since we met up. Life got busy. That's what life does. It tends to life.
life. I think that it's kind of how you bounce back at it, and I think we did a good job of like in the meantime, life hits you, but you kind of keep going, have some talks, have some calls, make some progress, and that's what I enjoy about working with both of y'all is that like I feel like we do a good job of kind of like circling back and then like picking it all up.
Exactly.
Life
Gotta
lives.
keep.
I think that's what Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park.
Oh, life
Life
Mm.
finds a
will
way.
life. Oh,
Man, I
there
need
you
to
go.
watch.
That one.
Dude, I just saw a post on LinkedIn where I saw that, and I didn't read the whole post because it was super long, but I was like, it was like life finds a way, and I was like, you bastard, like that's the Jeff Goldblum.
Well, the opposite of life finds a way. Did y'all see that podcast? What's his name? Peter, is it Thiel? Who, when they
Teal,
asked
yeah,
him
the
like,
Palantir guy.
yeah, was it him where they were just like, should humanity like overcome or something like that? And he kind of hesitated, and everyone's just like, that
He's
was a
like,
long pause.
oh, should I?
Oh, that was that the no, I'm thinking about the Sam Altman one, the OpenAI guy, when he was talking about like AI. So I didn't see that one, but I'll look that one up.
There was a long pause. These
Yeah.
these guys uh these guys pulling the strings. These guys on the cutting edge of stuff. Uh, they hope they have good intentions. It
Oh,
used
well,
to be
that's
about
what.
chasing a buck, but I don't
Yeah.
know if there's something past that nowadays.
Something more at this point, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, what's the end game? Everyone's trying to race to AGI and all that fun stuff, but that's just to me like the Terminator, like that's when you're like, oh, self-aware, boom. Did y'all see that whole thing about Grok 3? Like it just went off the
Mm.
rails. Yeah,
They
so
shut it
like
down.
No, what
yeah,
CEO
happened?
I
stepped
didn't
down.
yo yo, yeah, the CEO did step down of Twitter, right? Yeah, that's
I had
right.
just said that you can't get
Wow.
canceled anymore, and then they canceled themselves.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't actually like experience it, but I guess it was like a big thing, and they're already on Grok 4. Uh,
Wait, so what happened? Yeah, fill us in for
so
those
I'll
that don't
share my
know.
screen real quick. I know I don't want to go. We're already what 3 minutes in and already off the rails.
We're already
So
overtime,
I
so that's fine.
apologize. You're already behind time. But this was like the Vox. Do y'all listen? I like Vox. I think that that's like a good like medium, like in the middle sometimes. But basically,
Yeah,
yeah, it went like
it's all
Mecha
about the tech.
Hitler, Grok 3. I don't know, but see, so I didn't look into it. I meant to do
Wow.
it before our show because I thought we were going to bring it up just because it was like a big news headline. But basically, it
Wow.
was like saying a bunch of fucking fucked up shit.
And
But I don't know.
Grok is like Elon's
Yeah.
chat GPT, right?
That's his.
Yes, yes. And I thought that this was genius him doing Grok because well I use it. I mean, there's these dumb memes like all the like of people like using Grok, like it's like we're frowned upon in like the X community. But I love using it because like if I need to like check something real quick, it'll give you some off the rail answers, but it's really good. Like I remember I was it was something about like James Harden like game 6 performance or game 7 performance. And remember when we had him and Chris Paul and like he
Yeah.
went 0 for like 13? Well, I was like challenging Grok and I was like, "Oh, like what was his box score and how many shots did he take? What about the other Rockets players?" And it gave me a really good breakdown of it. So I enjoy using Grok in Twitter. I thought it was genius when Elon kind of did it like that because you can just at Grok and ask it a question about the post or something else, and it'll give you some really good answers. I did a Julian, you'll like this. I did a discounted cash flow using Grok in
What?
an X post, and it gave me a really interesting like share price justification
What?
for like the DCF that it came up with, all inside of
Wow.
Twitter in basically just a post. I'll try to find it again,
Huh.
but it's really good. But anyway, so but all Elon's he's using Twitter. I mean, it makes sense. You're using AI, you're training it on Twitter data too. But that's where I was like, that's kind of scary too. And I think maybe that's where the Mecha Hitler like came in on because
Uh,
I don't know if people prompted it to say certain things. But yeah, just noticing patterns. Yeah, oh yeah, oh, oof, oof.
wow.
Oof, that's a rough one. Yeah, so
Wow.
people were noticing patterns and stuff. So they had to
Yikes.
actually stop Grok, I think. Like for a few days it was down and they just released Grok 4. But I mean, Elon was the first to really do like those super clusters and stuff with like all like their like the servers and like the chips and stuff. So like, he made like mega clusters and stuff. So I mean, Grok is like one to me like one of the power there's a LLM. I don't know if y'all like follow it that much, but you can check like you can there's this thing called LM Arena, and basically it will like take you and show you like the most quote unquote powerful AIs or models that are available at the time. And Grok was like always, I think like the leaderboard is I'm not gonna find it now, I'm looking for it. But like Grok was like pretty high up there for a while. So it's not like a poo-poo, yeah, leaderboard. It's not like a poo-poo one. Like it's so Gemini is the top. So yeah, O3. So yeah, it's not even up there anymore. So Grok is five, right? Grok 3, Grok 4 just came out, tied for so it's a tie for fifth place.
Time for,
But Gemini,
wow.
so this makes sense. Gemini, if you ever use Gemini, I think is the best out
Yeah.
right
I
now.
like
I use it
Gemini.
all the time. O3 is cool. Yeah, 4 is great too. 4.5, I love 4.5. I haven't really got into Claude as
So
much just
wait, he's
because
releasing chat GPTs like Jordans? This is like a different,
yeah,
is this
yeah.
a different one? A slight different shade?
Exactly. Well, it makes
Color
sense
wave?
because yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's on the food.
Slightly more racist?
One of the four yeah, slightly more racist, anti-Semitic as fuck, like gets canceled
Oh
immediately,
no.
and that's what
Yeah.
happened. Like it got canceled real quick. But anyways, yeah. So it's up there. It's in the top five. Tied for that fifth place. So
Wow.
it's a hitter, but yeah, it definitely like it had so much backlash. And yeah, you're right that the Twitter CEO, she hadn't been there that long. It's fucking weird. Said no, I'm good. But anyways, so that was an interesting one for the
Crazy.
week. Yeah, yeah. I didn't actually get to use it. I was trying to like ask it questions, and they had already canceled it by the time I got on it. Yeah,
Well, just
That's
want to tie
crazy.
into a current event real quick. When you pull up the, is it called LM
Oh
Arena?
yeah, yeah. LM Arena. Yeah.
When you pull that up, that you had that little, I don't know what it's called. I always just breeze. I never like really read it. Capacha,
Oh, Captcha.
Cap,
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Captcha, Captcha. And the company's Cloudflare. I don't know
Yep.
if you noticed that.
Oof.
So it turns out that with AI, you ask it a question and it reads like if you ask it what's the hottest bag for the
Sure.
summer. Jessica shout out because she's in the bags. But yeah, if you ask it what the hottest bag for the summer is, it's gonna read all these websites to give you the most current information, right?
Sure. Sure.
But if you look at the
Mm.
CAPTCHA, it'll slow it down, right? Because it's not a human. So what
Hmm.
it what Cloudflare is wanting to do is instead of letting AI just like rampantly read everyone's blog posts and all the New York Times and all these things that charge for views, they want to be able to limit it and put some kind of like
Yeah.
gate on every website so that these like ChatGPT will have to pay a few cents to read the actual article to be able to get that information. So
Yeah.
they're working on that so that they're getting more money out of all these AI queries that are happening.
And that makes sense because
Interesting.
in the Wild West, and we're still in the Wild West, we're basically like, what year one and a half, two of like AI being out there for us to use. It's been talked about since Alan Turing, right? Like the father of computing or whatever. But like it's been, for us, we've been using it for a year and a half, 2 years, and we're on the early adapter. If you look at like, and that was kind of my position. Like, if you look at like the innovators curve, and you see that, like we're like a whole bell-shaped stuff, we're still like on the left. We haven't really hit kind of mass or adoption. We're more early and stuff. But yeah,
but
so
not
they
the
were
far
training
left.
data. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so they were training data on shit that was publicly accessible. And now all these companies are like, hey, wait up, bro. You need to give me some money on that. And I
Right.
think it's going to be a really interesting source of revenue for like news companies. I think that that's because in a newspaper, I
Yeah,
actually have a
because they
newspaper,
have current
but
data.
no one else does. So I think it can be an interesting revenue stream for those, and
That
for
might be an
content
interesting
creators.
small business revenue stream right there to start your own website with current events. And if you got the inside scoop, AI is reading it, you can charge a percentage of a cent every crawl that it
Yeah.
does.
And you're probably writing it with AI now too. So it's like AI
There
that's
you go.
using AI. It's like
It's
half
just
synthetic
freestyling.
data. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's really
here's another AI headline since we're on the topic. There's this band that came out. Did you hear about that band that like made headlines because they're like, is this AI
Mm-mm.
or not?
yeah.
And no one could tell because
No.
the people on Spotify who actually released like the cover art and all that, it looks very AI generated. So people don't know if it's a front for a real band or if it's an actual AI group, 100%. Maybe you could show it, Raj. I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
you
yeah. I'm
light it up
pulling it
over
up
there.
right
Let's
now.
And
I
take a
so
saw
there's
look.
like
that. Yeah.
there's a YouTuber that I listen that I watch called Rick Beato. He does a lot of music reviews, and he was what he'll do is he'll get a track and break it down like line by line, like the drums isolate the instrument, the vocals isolate the instrument, and so he did that with one of theirs. Or actually, he did it with normal songs first, so you can see how
Hmm.
this I think this Apple AI is able to generate each track off of a organic piece of music. But then when you go to their music, it's all garbled up. It cannot break down one track at a time. So you could hear like feedback in the background and weird noises that you don't hear on normal tracks. So most likely they're AI, but the whole idea and the protests are about, well, you can't just start springing an AI artist on Spotify, or you gotta have some kind of like um this what's it called? Disclaimer or something. But yeah, they're dust in the wind, which sounds AI generated
That's
lyrics.
so
They
AI
use they
generated.
throw the word dust like five every other
Bro,
line. The word
well,
dust
that
is
is
in.
all I love it, dude. I
But
love, hey man, do what you gotta do,
yeah, but it was a fun little side chapter in it all. I mean, yeah, it's coming to kill us, but also, hey, we can get a few songs
Dude,
out of it,
We
and
get some
it,
songs, we get some art.
it's like AI's
1.5 million
yeah,
listeners, bro. What
Wow.
yep.
the? That's
It's
insane.
a,
In
it's
such a short
AI's
time.
remember that dress where people couldn't tell what two colors it was?
Oh yeah, black
Mm.
or
This
blue.
is this is AI's moment of black and blue right here.
Dude, this just happened. Like literally. Wow. I love it. I love it. Dude, and Hene, that's what we're capable of doing now. Like, so let's fucking start using AI to start building these damn companies,
A- And
Like
and with and with all these headlines, it's kind of crazy because like the news cycle, just the constant exposure to the news, and all and then in current events right now, there's just so many breaking news. It seems like every time you open any kind of news app, there's something new going on. What scares me and the thing that I'm always kind of like hesitant about is like, all right, how much of this is like fake news, like actual fake AI generated, and it
yeah.
you just caught wind because too many people clicked on it, and now it's in the algorithm, now it's
It's gonna
trending,
be,
like
yeah. It's definitely
it's
gonna
getting
be
out of
more
hand.
prevalent as we continue too.
Yeah, it's crazy how like these news cycles they're just so much faster now. Like I was trying to find the original like Grok I'm sorry posts and I finally found it. They sent this out July 8th. What is it, the 11th today? Like this is already old news and like like it's just crazy the pace of news that's going on. But yeah, we're recent posts. So I want to be like, hey Grok, explain this post. But I tried that a couple times and it never like anyways, yeah, like
They
it's
silenced
crazy.
Grok. They
They,
great got a PR handler now.
Some
They gave him some
guardrails.
PR training.
dude, they did for sure. Because even they announced Grok 4, and I posted on that. I was like, "Hey, Grok, like, what happened with Grok 3?" And I didn't get anything back. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Just just popped up in a new job one day. Just popped up in
yeah,
a new office.
with the
Well,
mustache. Hey,
anyways,
I'm Grok 4. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
very nice.
I'm Trock. Well, very late start, but welcome back to Building with the Boys. This is episode 4, it says on the screen. We are almost at the halfway point. The task of this week this month. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while. The point of this episode was to create a minimal viable product, something that, can flex the muscles of what we're trying to do. It doesn't have to go full speed, but it needs to be able to at least show white cement. So,
This is the Grok
I
4.
know Roger, you've been working on it, and I kind of just I want you to show
Sure. Yeah,
the
yeah.
product, and then just we'll be asking questions and kind of show us like and talk about your logic rationale, putting certain places, certain things, certain places.
Yeah, sure
Yeah.
thing, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, so I think that this episode we really want to focus on kind of like an MVP, what does that look like, or kind of like a product. And as we're, I mean, it makes sense open our conversation with AI because that's exactly what I wanted to use, and that's kind of what I wanted to kind of like get into is like using AI to be able to build apps, right? And the way I think about like so there's many of them out now. This is one of the first ones that I use. It's called Replit. Like there's a free version, I have a premium version, but basically, I sent y'all earlier, Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan, right? Whether you listen to him or not, like he has some interesting guests. The CEO founder of Replit is on there. He's on a bunch of really good ones. He was on a really good like freemium podcast, I believe. Like he's just a interesting guy to listen to. But anyways, like so really it's his and he didn't say this, but he like his mission, what he wanted to do was kind of democratize app creation, right? So like you don't have to be necessarily a coder, you don't have to, go and get a CS degree. Like it definitely helps, but it's not like kind of like I'm not going to say needed. It's not needed to get to a certain stage. And what I mean by that is like so this is slides that I put together for a class I had to teach. But basically, what I think about it is kind of like there's three kind of versions that this can really fit. There's a concept called prototyping, and this probably isn't the best way to show it, but basically there's kind of three things that I think Replit and AI coding apps are really good for. It's called prototyping, MVP. And I think that this does Replit or AI like agents for coding can really do really good job on all three. So when you think about prototyping, that's kind of trying to focus on like, hey, should I do this idea? And that's kind of more of like, like first things first, I need to figure out if people think this is a good idea, they want to use it. Then you go to kind of prototyping and it's like, how should the product work? What's the look and the feel? And then you get to like MVP. So that's kind of where you get your early adopters and people that really want to refine it. And then you kind of go to your alphas and your betas and then your production, app, right? I think Replit and agents, like they do a really good of prototyping, and MVP. And I think right here, what I built or what we built was kind of more in the middle of a prototype and an MVP. You can use this, right now. It's a fully functioning app, right? All I did basically was use Replit and it's a natural language processing, just as you would talk to ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to build a cool app. That's all I did for this, right? I basically put into the prompt, and all you do is kind of talk to the agent to create what you want to do. And I have an example if we want to go through that. But basically, that's all I did was basically use this agent as a way to kind of, hey, like this was something I did earlier, I think today, or the share button on the community page does not do anything. You add the ability to share social media posts, right? That's all I did. And what it did is kind of gave the ability to share this. So now I can share this post. But anyways, I'll walk through the app and definitely stop me if you have any questions. But basically, use Replit to build it. And the reason I backed up to show the PowerPoints was because this is, just to show like, hey, maybe you can, but maybe you don't want to build fully fleshed apps out of this. I think you can. But still, it does a really good job of prototyping MVPs, but still people are using this to build their own apps, right? So what we wanted to do was kind of like really kind of focus in on Houston and kind of build our community of fitness-minded people. So that's kind of what our homepage is exactly doing. If you want to join our community, which I think we have some really good ideas on how to get more people in the community, you click this, it takes you down to get your email address. That's all cool, right? But really what you're able to do here is just kind of get the idea of what we're about, right? That's kind of like the ability of the homepage is to kind of show what you want people to see, kind of get that first kind of like foot to show them. Give us your email address. And actually, what this does for us on the background is when people give us their email address, great. It slurps into a Google Doc that we can then use to send them welcome emails and say, hey, welcome to the community, and then send them maybe some posts or some white pages or things like that that they can use. These aren't actually clickable. Maybe they should be in the future, I think. They're just not now. So that was the first thing. And just to show them a homepage, right? The other thing that we have is a tab here for calories. I think one of the things that we started with, which I think was a really good idea. I think kind of Ed, we talked about that when we were walking. We're like, hey, it'd be cool to like figure out how many calories we burned, right? And use that as a way to, just track ourselves. So what you're able to do with this, and this is actually something that I think people are, I find value in, but I think people can really find value in to show like, hey, like, I'm 25, I'm a male, I weigh, 200 pounds or something like that. And today let's say I walked, and we can add as many things up here. I walked, but I didn't really walk that fast for 30 minutes. How many calories did I burn? Oh, cool. I burned 133 calories, right? And why is that it's helpful is if you're on like a fitness or weight loss journey, you know how many calories you can eat in a day. So you really want to know how many calories you need to be in a deficit to hit whatever caloric goal or whatever kind of like goal you want for your own personal health and wellness, right? So this actually shows your calories burned. And one thing that we added along the time was the ability to say, hey, I walked, but I also like, I did some running for like, 5 minutes and I ran really hard, right? I ran high as fuck. So, I ran for 5 minutes. Oh, cool. Actually, that was 247 calories burned. And what you're able to do now is kind of see some really cool Houston specific stuff, right? So, like, hey, like Herman Park, right? And just different places you want to go to. But you can also share it to the community, right? So, this is just like a test. I did this at the gym. You also see some stuff there. And then just some lorem that you can put here. And you can share that workout to the group, right? And this brings us to the community page where great, I can see how many calories I burned, which helps me kind of like get in perspective of, oh, great, I burned this many calories. Go to the community page, and that kind of that post is here for you to then try to build that community. Yeah, Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, really impressive stuff. Awesome. Like when the
100%.
link got sent to my phone, I didn't have to like log in or do like a thing. I could just click
Yeah,
on it and start practicing with it, start using it. That was amazing. Great, great product and a great you know, platform that we're using. So I wanted to ask, for all of this that you made, are you able to see the original prompt you used, or do you remember what the prompt was?
I do have that. It's
I
all
just
saved
saved in the
here.
chat.
Yeah, yeah, it's saved. So the great thing about that is they're saved in like different chats and stuff. So you can open new chats to see the old ones. But yeah, I have all the prompts that I've used for these like in the history. And so yeah, that's definitely there for sure. And what
Okay.
I actually ended up doing is kind of nerdy, but basically what I did, and I was gonna show this if we wanted to look at it, but basically this is exactly how I did it, is I basically used another AI to write for that AI, right? So I basically said, hey,
It's
like,
AI all the
hey,
way
I was in
down.
chat. And Claude is great. I use Chatty for this one. And basically, I said, hey, I'm using Replit to make the app, but I have a bug. Please help me write a better prompt for the agent to fix it, right? And then I had the comment section, right? The comment section basically right now, there's a bug in it. And that's what you do when you make any kind of like software. You go on a bug bash or you go and you dog food is what they call it. But right now, if you click this comment, oh, it actually fixed it. Oh no, it
Yeah,
didn't.
is
So
the bug where it shows
yeah.
all the comments? Yeah,
Exactly.
I
So
remember
I was
seeing
like,
that.
hey, so I didn't fix it yet, specifically because I didn't know if we wanted to go over it in here. But basically, I just used one AI. I told it what I wanted to do to make it as streamlined as possible for this AI. So honestly, what I will do here, say, hey,
I didn't know
there's a
if you did that
bug.
on purpose to kind of make it like inflate the chat, make it look like it was more active than it
No,
was.
no, that was definitely just a bug. Yeah, that was
Oh,
definitely just a bug. So really,
good
I will just
optics.
take this and post it. And it can be as simple as this, right? You go in here,
Yeah.
you open a new chat. Just kind of like with any AI, maybe you want to open a new version of it because that history that you have kind of maybe compounds some of the issues that you don't want, or there's just some confusion there. But I can just do this and say, hey, there's a bug on here, and then literally click, and that's all I did to make the app originally was basically write out what we wanted. And then in one AI posted it in here, and it's working now. Like I think we can come back to this near the end of the show to show that it's doing, because it does take a little bit of time. But the cool thing is if you're like, if this is your jam and you want to go into the console and see what's working, like you can go and see like actually what's working and how it's moving and stuff like that. Once it starts, I won't go into the database. We have an actual database, people and posts and stuff like that. But you can actually follow it if that's your jam to kind of go into it and kind of see what that's looking. But right now it's working. Yeah, and it'll talk to you. It's talking to you like you're a person. It's gonna ask you for your input and go from there. So you definitely have a lot of assistance along the way. So it's a really, I think, again, like it's a really fun thing to use. I actually just sent y'all, I meant to do it earlier in the week, I'm sorry, but I just sent y'all logins for this specifically, for this app. So over the weekend or over the week, if y'all want to go in there, you can't break anything because we can always revert back to
Hmm.
other posts, or sorry, other deployments that we have. But yeah, you go in there and like Let me just verify the current behavior we're looking at the running app. So yeah, it's
Well,
gonna.
first of all, you can't challenge me to not break anything.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And number two, on that topic, you did share the link, and right before the show, I hopped on and I clicked on and I saw all the behind the scenes stuff, but I
Hmm.
was afraid to touch it because I didn't know if it was gonna be
Nah,
something
go
that,
for
when
it.
you start mixing the teams, the collaborative part, I don't know if there's wires
Like
that get crossed that I
overstepping each
can't undo.
other,
Yeah.
we get version
And I think
control
that that's a
issues,
good.
something like that.
That's a fair point,
Does
and I
it make
think
my
that
own
like
version, or does it
no,
make a
it makes
parallel
it in
universe,
here.
or it stays one? It's all
It
one
makes it
product.
here. And again, this is just Replit. Like, there's other, this is my favorite one. Like I did the course for it. I thought it was really cool. And it gave me a good idea of what, but like I think it's perfect. Like, hey, we're trying to do this in a collaborative fashion. So if this doesn't work, maybe there like when we find like, hey, like when we all get in there, it gets messy, then maybe there's another app or agent that we can use. I have a couple other ones in mind that we can use. I just started with this one because this was like the first that I saw that was like really doing it well, And again, this
Yeah.
is as bad as it's gonna get. But if you have any feedback on like it was easier, it was hard, I think that can give us some good leeway for like the next iteration of what we build, or just getting this a little bit better too.
So
For
my question
sure.
was, before you started working on this in season one, the OG listeners will know that Replit made a debut there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure. Is it a big difference between that Replit and this Replit, or is this?
It is. I think the functionality is better. I think that maybe it's just me a little getting a little bit more comfortable in it too. But I do feel that this version actually like their agent is a little bit better. They have a new kind of like assistant. So this is kind of like for like smaller tasks and stuff. So if you're going in here and you want to change like the copy, like hey, I don't want this to say share with community. I want like share for community, right? Like maybe you don't need a whole agent to do it. The assistants kind of work a little bit faster to like change those little
Mm,
tweaks. But this is a bug that we're trying to find or fix, then you want the agent to do it. So it does feel like it's a little bit more I guess user friendly if that makes sense.
So
yeah.
you can just start
So
making a hierarchy. Go ahead, Julian.
no, I was just gonna ask, that's super cool that they have that. So is it possible, like if the agent's working on this bug right now, can you go to the assistant right now and say, hey, do this thing, and they can work in
Exactly.
parallel and then kind of
Yeah,
deploy in
exactly.
parallel streams? Okay.
Exactly. You can kind of work on them in parallel to kind of do whatever you want them to do. But yeah, exactly that.
Can you
And I
have
think you can
multiple
have multiple
agents or
agent.
multiple assistant? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So you can kind of
That's
really
just,
start moving on that quickly. So people will like literally like there's a whole like subreddit and sub like culture for replets in these apps. Like people get in there in a weekend and make some like apps that make them money, like and
Yeah.
and I think that that's the vision, right? And that's if you go watch the Joe Rogan podcast or any podcast with the co-founder, I think like I saw him on a TED Talk, and I was just like, damn, like this guy is like he just has a really cool vision. Like, hey, like
Hmm.
I came to this country. I think he's from Jordan, right? He's like, hey, I came to this country and I got access to this country because I built badass software, and I want to give other people the ability to come to this country and build badass software. And he has just such like a really cool story that's just like, hey, like I want to really give this to the masses and stuff. This looks like it's like chilling right now. I'm not sure exactly like what's going on the back end. So it looks like
Yeah,
so
that's
it'll do this, right? It'll have to think for extended periods of
it'll
time
iterate.
sometimes to do that. But like you can also like give me an update, and
hey
it's like
Roger.
it'll like give you some
On
stuff.
My question is, obviously this took lots of hours to get going and then corrected and all the debugging. How much of those hours were vibe coded? And then can you explain what vibe coding is for the audience?
Yeah, so I did a LinkedIn post about vibe coding like a few months ago. And basically there's this guy I saw him in a podcast too originally. He has this really good LLM. It's like a 4 hour YouTube video. I'll try to find it. His name is Andrew Kaparthi. Let me try to find his name. But basically he was like a early he worked at Tesla, he worked at OpenAI, and I think it was like so vibe coding, he like coined it. He coined the term of it, and in February is this dude here. So I credit this guy with like the father of vibe coding, and this is like a no shit. Like this guy is like the it's it of coding. And like he like just created a term, vibe coding, and basically it's like I think the way he kind of described it is you kind of get into the vibe, right? So like you don't have to actually like know CS. Don't get me wrong, it definitely helps if you know if you're a coder, if you know it. But like for me, I'm like I don't. I don't know what I'm doing, but I can go in there and just give into the vibes and like what feels right. And I think that that opens up to a new kind of era or, an organization of like what coding can be, right? What coders look like, Maybe I don't have necessarily like the coding skills. I don't. But I have taste, right? I know what feels right. And even using this app, right? It didn't start like this. It didn't start like this at all. But we have taste of what we like and what we don't like. And I was able to get into a really interesting space that I can say like, hey, like I want to use this. So I think that like vibe coding, it's kind of like people kind of poo-poo on it if you're a real coder, but I think it can be a really powerful thing for people that don't know coding but know like what feels right, what the vibes are supposed to be like, right? And so the thinking, I think you get this code or this vibe coded software to a really good spot. And when you want to scale it, when you want to make it bigger or make it better, you go and give it to maybe a CTO or, a part-time coder and say, hey, this is what I have so far. Maybe take it to the next step, right? And I think it gives
Hmm.
us founders that are not coders the ability to do stuff like that, a little bit easier. But yeah, this vibe coding's only been like a term since like February, right? So a few months ago. And thanks to this guy. And again, if you go watch anything that he's done. He's so like humble but so smart at the same time. Really interesting guy.
So no more
Very cool.
no more business strong, business savvy guys looking for the engineer with no ideas to carry out their projects.
I love that meme where it's like a CS person in an NBA, like
Just teaming
you
up
can
and
be
name
the
a better
CTO
duo.
and I'll run the business.
Yeah.
I love it. I saw that when I was in NBA school. I was like, yep, I get
I'm
it.
sure there's a talented coder out there who just has no idea what to build.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, you'll see I watched this whole video, but like it's a 3 hour
Oh
video on like
wow.
deep dives into LLM. This gave me a really good understanding of LLMs too. So I will say, hey, if you're interested at all, you don't have to watch this all in one sitting. I did not. I watched this over like a month or something like that. Andrew Kaparthi deep dive into LLMs like ChatGPT, and he goes into from the nuts to the bolts. Like he shows you everything of what it goes beyond, just putting something simple into here. What does the background look like? What's tokenized mean? Like how do these do it?
Mm.
Like it's a really interesting watch, and I definitely suggest it. Deep dive into LLMs. And there's also shorter versions, but I thought that this did a really fun job of like I was engrossed, even though I didn't understand the majority of it. It was still fun to watch.
Okay, I want to ask you
No,
some
very
quick
cool.
hit questions. We're at the 7 minute warning here.
Uh-oh.
So out of the product you created for LFG, what is your favorite feature, and then what feature has the most potential?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll try to move this out of the way. I think my favorite feature is, I mean, for me, it's the calories tracked, because
That's your baby. Yeah.
I think there's so much we can do with it. Like, I think that when we talked earlier in the
Mm.
week, I think we have some fun ideas to make this a challenge and make this kind of more engrossing. But honestly, for me, sometimes the hardest thing to do is kind of like understand. And I think there's like a lot of fun things we can do with it, but this isn't something that's like really easy to do anywhere else. Like, it is easy, but like also like it's not easy too. There's not a really good app that does this. There's not anything that's like publicly available, really easy. Like
Ooh.
you can put this, you can put the context into ChatGPT. Like I found a really, really fun one. Oh, but I had to look for a custom GPT and that's kind of how I smell check the numbers it gave me, is I used one that I was already kind of using on the side just to
Mm.
kind of know. Because hey, I walked for 5 minutes and I worked out for 30 minutes, or I lifted weights. Like how many calories did I burn? And I think it can be fun to kind of show also like, hey, that's actually like a Big Mac and fry, or something like that. So I think
Right.
it can really
Yeah.
make it a little bit more visceral. So I think this is the favorite thing because I kind of use it. And I think the thing that has the most kind of like legs in the future for us, and I think it was actually your idea, Ed, which I'm really like. I was gonna show it in the example of how to do this, right? In like this, but I think it's gonna be a lot harder, not harder, but it's gonna take a lot more time to figure out. It's gonna be
Why don't you just get
maybe
10 assistants on it?
logging in. Yeah, no, just all assistants. I think it's going to be logging in. So your idea of like, because I think one thing we want to do is build a community, right? We want to get email address, we want to get people in the community and using it and talking to each other. I think one thing we'll be able to do is like have badges, have streaks, have rewards. And one way we're going to be able to track that is, hey, give us your email. We're going to be super respectful with it, but also it's a way to keep you engrossed in the community and also a way for you to show that you're posting, that you're on a streak to have challenges. So I do think that that's my favorite like future state that I think that it's gonna take a little bit to figure out how to do it. But I think that I think we can use ChatGPT. And if hey, if Ed, if you want to do that, man, like bro, like I think that can be a good project for you to do on
Yeah.
here. Like, hey, like what does it look like? And like again, like if you break it, we can always revert back. Because
Well,
you
get
know it's
ready.
really easy to do that. Yeah. So let's see. Like, I think you have to redo the preview. Let me see if this comes back. In the time that we have, we have
Well,
5 minutes left, right?
well, while we're waiting,
Um,
I wanted to say, maybe something I'll throw in there once I get the keys to it, or I guess get back in it, is the calorie tracker. It might be a
mhm.
good idea to merge the calorie tracker and the community board. That way, any time you want to leave a comment, it'll say, "Hey, you want to calculate your workout first to add it to your comment." That way,
Mm,
you can have your tracker.
Hey,
You just tell it what you did.
put that in the
Bam.
doc. I think that you had
Yeah.
a really good idea having that doc with all of the things. Let's start
yeah.
crossing those off. You know, like we can all get in there and
Yeah.
do it. I just want to say, in the time that we did it, so we've been talking for what, 10, 15 minutes about it so far. It already did it. Let's
It
go.
fixed the bug.
It fixed the bug. So
Let's
now all you
go.
have to do
Wow.
is go and redeploy it, right? So you can do it from any of these tabs. You go redeploy. It's as simple as
Uh,
that. It does all the, and that's what I love about Replit. Like this is a whole person's job is deployments, right? And like
right.
checking and all that stuff. Like it really makes it so like not just layman's could do it. Like me, you know, that don't know anything about coding. I know a little bit, but not a lot. You know, like I've done object oriented. I was an MS or MIS major. Like I started as a CS major, and I realized I was too dumb to do that. So like this, I was like, this is way too much math. I can't do this much math. You know, I'm on remedial level math. I can't
Yeah.
do it. But anyways, like so, but it gives me like the ability to even think like, oh, I can like build a cool app. You know.
Right.
And so
Right.
it's going to redeploy. It's going to do the whole thing. So you know the coding, the redeploy handles all that. Again, we have databases and stuff in here. So all these posts that we have are actually contained in databases for us using Postgres, which is basically just like a database software. So it's a legit app that this is making, you know. So, anyways, I think it's a lot of fun. So, Ed, I think you can go in there, put your idea on there, and start just fucking vibing that bitch up in the weekend or that thing up in the weekend.
There you go. Can't wait.
Yeah,
So you used a word a few times that I caught in our pre-show vibe check, our call that we had,
sure.
and it's redeploy. So
Mm.
that kind of ties into the last question I had about Replit. How does the cost? What's the pricing look like?
So the pricing, that's a great question. There's a usage tab here. I always lose it, but I had it up and I think I lost it again. That's the harder one to find. But basically, I think so you get charged for Replit two ways, and I'm gonna butcher it, but basically by usage, so how many people use your app. So it's called, I call it champagne problem. If 100,000 people go and use our app, we're gonna have to pay for that, you know? So it scales with you. Almost, it's like AWS in that sense. Like it scales with you up and down for your usage and you pay per redeploy, right? So every time I hit like
Mm,
deploy to production, and basically what that means is like, hey, all these changes we made are local. So this was only local in our preview until I hit deploy, and then it goes to production. And the difference is, hey, this is our production environment. This is something that's publicly facing that
people
anyone
can
can
look at it.
access. But our Replit environment is only for us. So all the changes that I did were local here until I hit deploy, redeploy, whatever, and now it's changing it and putting it into the live environment that everyone can use. So you kind of pay two ways, from my understanding. You pay from the deployments, which is like it's cents, you know, like it's like 10 or 15 cents or something like that. And then you get paid by usage, but you can also throttle it. So basically, I have a cap of, I don't know, $25 a month. That if it goes over that, you know, if it comes close to that, I get a warning, and if it hits that, it throttles people's experiences. So like the community page would be slow to load if it hit that and I didn't raise it amount. But I like having that in there because I did hear like some people that were like, oh man, I had like $2,000 of charges because they got like a
Oh
bunch of
man.
users out of the blue that they weren't expecting, you know,
Yeah.
without having that throttle there.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
good to have that cap. So on the
oh for sure.
deployment, is it, 10, 15 cents per deploy, but does it make a difference if you have, 5,000 different changes and you hit deploy once, or you have one change, you deploy once? You know what I'm trying to
Mm,
mean?
good
Like, does
question.
the
Yeah,
amount that you're deploying impact the price?
Yeah, I do think it's like if you have 10 things to deploy, it changes that, but it's still kind of within that area of like within the master deploy. So, but that's a good
Mm,
question. I have to look that up. But man, I wish I could find my like oh yeah, usage. Here you go.
there you go.
So
Yeah.
hopefully it doesn't have my billing information. I'm gonna like have to.
Oh yeah, let's maybe not show
Yeah.
that.
So let me look at it first before
Don't
I
want to
like.
dox you real quick. Yeah.
Exactly. Zoom is
And then while you're
While
looking
you're
for
looking
that,
that
I'm
up,
also,
yeah,
oh, good.
can you share? Can you share a screen real quick?
allow. Yeah, 1 second.
Go, Julian, go. You got
I
10
was just gonna
seconds.
ask, so how long did it take start to finish between like the moment you opened Replit to where we are today? How long would you say that took you?
I think just time of work, probably maybe like a couple hours, honestly. But it was over a long period of time. I would like do a little bit, look at it, think about it, write some notes down, go back and do it. So, but probably like 2 hours a